a group of students were singing and dancing, celebrating the upcoming trip. However, little did they know, a disaster awaited them. The bus suddenly turned into a secluded path. Several people sitting at the front had already put on gas masks when smoke bombs were thrown into the cabin. With each violent act of the criminals, the high school students on the bus were quickly subdued. Several hours later, the news reported the bus's cliff accident. The criminals disguised the incident as a traffic accident, and their target was just one girl on the bus. She is the biological mother of Koo Ja-yoon and girl. The people who kidnapped her were Dr. Bai and her sister who transformed the human base. Time flew by, and more than 10 years have passed. Koo Ja-yoon single-handedly wiped out the entire base of modified humans before disappearing without a trace. And not long after, another base of modified humans on Jeju Island was also massacred. Everyone inside perished, except for one girl named Girl. She woke up from unconsciousness, unaware of what had transpired. Girl, covered in blood and dirt, walked through the snowy landscape. It was her first time stepping out of the base. As she reached the highway, a speeding car narrowly missed her, but she showed no reaction. The car screeched to a halt ahead and quickly reversed. Several burly men got out and forcefully dragged her into the vehicle. It turns out these are kidnappers, and they are preparing to bury a woman in the car alive. The kidnappers are afraid that the girl will remember the license plate, so they plan to bury her alive as well. Seeing Girl covered in blood and with a vacant expression, the kidnappers curiously pinched and prodded her face, thinking she was a lunatic who had escaped from a mental hospital. However, Girl taught them a lesson.
And this looks...
I warned you.
A few minutes later, when the woman regained consciousness, the entire car had already been completely dismantled. Upon stepping outside, she saw that the last surviving kidnapper was also on the verge of death. The woman yelled to stop Girl, stepped forward and used the kidnapper's mobile phone to call the police. Initially, the woman was prepared to leave, but suddenly, she stopped. After all, it was Girl who saved her life. After some internal struggle, she decided to bring Girl along and escape from the scene. Later, Girl was taken to a veterinary clinic, where the veterinarian happened to be the Kyung Hee's friend. He removed the bullets from Girl's body. Just as he pulled out the bullet from her back, Girl's superpowers began to evolve. The vet turned around to take a sip of tea, and by the time he looked back, Girl's wound had already healed. This sight left him utterly astonished. Having been a veterinarian for decades, it was the first time he had witnessed a human healing faster than a dog. In the evening, Kyung Hee brought Girl home. After briefly introducing Girl to her younger brother Dae-gil, Kyung Hee personally cooked a table full of delicious dishes. Looking at the food on the table, Girl swallowed her saliva but didn't rush to start eating. Kyung Hee asked Girl if she didn't have an appetite, but Girl shook her head to indicate that wasn't the case. At that moment, Dae-gil suggested that it was because Kyung Hee's cooking wasn't good. Hearing her brother's words, Kyung Hee became very angry. The siblings ended up fighting over the meal, which seemed to be a typical part of their daily interactions. In reality, Girl wasn't lacking appetite, nor was it because the food wasn't good. Instead, once she started eating, the food in front of them wouldn't be enough for everyone. When Kyung Hee finished teaching his brother a lesson and looked back, he saw that the food on the table had been cleared away by Girl. At the same time, Dr. Beck found Jo Hyun and prepared to hunt down Girl. She told Jo Hyun that Girl's sister Koo Ja-yoon had come to her not long ago. The other party was heavily injured and managed to escape, so Koo Ja-yoon's threat was not significant, because Koo Ja-yoon's brain function needs to rely on drugs. But her sister Girl has no weaknesses at all. Girl's superpower rating is as high as SS. Dr. Beck gave Jo Hyun a tracker and urged her to immediately pursue. The girl still didn't know anything about it. At this moment, she suddenly started bleeding from her nose. Following that, her mother's summons echoes in her mind incessantly. As her head throbs in pain, her special function abilities evolve once again. This time, Girl can create a time field around her body. Even her sister Koo Ja-yoon cannot possess this ability. Suddenly, several cars appeared outside the house. It was a local gang. The kidnappers who had been dealt with by Girl earlier were part of their group. Kyung Hee grabbed a shotgun and confronted them. It turns out that the gangster boss has set his sights on Kyung Hee's land in order to develop real estate.
Well, go.
In her panic, Kyung Hee fired a shot, and Yong-doo's henchmen rushed to grab the gun. At that moment, Dae-gil suddenly charged in, swinging a baseball bat. However, Dae-gil was no match for the gangsters and was quickly knocked to the ground. Then, Yong-doo pulled out a contract and demanded that Kyung Hee sign it. Just then, Kyung Hee suddenly noticed a figure. Everyone followed her gaze and saw the figure as well. There, standing on the rooftop and looking down at them, was a girl. To Girl, These ordinary thugs are no match for her. Girl takes a gentle step and stands unscathed on the ground. Yong-do was greatly astonished. In the shocked eyes of the gangsters, Girl slowly stepped forward and kicked a man away in an instant.
What do you want?
When they came back to their senses, Girl teleported to her eyes, randomly grabbed another subordinate and threw it directly. After kicking the car, Girl continued to slap forward one by one. The gang members are sent flying like flies. Finally, she snatches Yong-do's gun and empties it. If her sister, Koo Ja-yoon, were present, these people would have been dealt with long ago. However, Girl is not as bloodthirsty as her sister. Under the dissuasion of Kyung-hee, she spared the gang. When it was over, Dae-gil was shocked and asked who Girl was. But Kyung-hee was not surprised at all and even asked his younger brother to calm down. After all, she had witnessed Girl instantly defeating 4 gang members before. The next day, the sister and brother took Girl to the supermarket for shopping. As soon as they entered, Girl's eyes lit up as she saw instant noodles, chocolates, and fruit juices. She noticed a nearby store clerk offering samples, so she quickly put down the snacks she was holding. Seeing others also eating, she thought it was probably free. With just one bite, she instantly fell in love with the delicious taste. After all, there was nothing she thought was not delicious, so she cleared out all the tasting paper cups. She then ate all the food samples in the supermarket, and other customers who were trying the food were shocked. Meanwhile, Yong-do and his men went to Dr. Bayan's clinic. They knew that Dr. Bayan had a good relationship with Kyung-hee and wanted to extract information about Girl from him to seek revenge. Before leaving, the ruthless Yong-do cruelly cut off 2 of Dr. Bayan's fingers. Upon receiving a phone call, Kyung-hee hurriedly rushed over. Fortunately, he was sent to the doctor in time, and the veterinarian's finger was cured. Due to having witnessed Girl's healing abilities, he warned Kyung-hee to stay away from Girl. Just as they were about to leave, Jo Hyun also approached them. She informed the woman that Girl is an extremely dangerous modified individual. She urged Kyung-hee to cooperate with their capture operation tonight. Meanwhile, when Yong-do returned to his office, 2 bodyguards were instantly shot in the head. Yong-do knew that these individuals, like Girl, were not ordinary people, so he gave up resisting. These black-clad individuals had received information about the gang being attacked by modified individuals, so they rushed overnight to follow the clues leading to Girl. Originally, these individuals were the ones who raided the Jeju Island base and let Girl escape. However, their current objective remains unknown. That evening, Kyung-hee returned home and found herself struggling. Although she knew that Girl was very dangerous, she couldn't forget that Girl had saved her twice before. So, she informed Girl about the fireworks show happening on Jeju Island and advised her to go watch it herself. By this time, Jo Hyun's capture team was in position, and Yong-do had also arrived. Yong-do, no longer holding back, immediately shot and killed Kyung-hee. When her younger brother ran out, Jo Hyun's men fired the rocket launcher according to plan. They intended to kill Girl with one blow, but little did they know that Girl had already left through the back door. Yong-do tried to kill Dae-gil as well, but was shot in the shoulder.
Your father for me.
Jo Hyun timely appeared and warned Yong-do to leave quickly. Seeing the gangsters retreat, the woman in black smiled slightly, then waved her hand and the surrounding fence instantly rose from the ground. Finally, the fence formed countless spikes and hit the gang members like a rainstorm. Immediately after that, Jo Hyun and the woman in black engaged in a fierce battle. The woman in black was running fast under the fire of 2 machine guns, leaving only a shadow. She suddenly jumped out from the bottom and kicked Jo Hyun's men away. Jo Hyun fired continuously at the other person, but their fingers regenerated in the blink of an eye. Clearly, the opponent's strength surpassed her expectations. After being knocked off the roof, Jo Hyun finally realized the gap between herself and the black-clad individual. She told Dae-gil to run for his life, but Yong-do, who was lucky enough to survive, fired a gun. Although Jo Hyun stood in front of him, he was still a step too late, and Dae-gil was unfortunately shot and killed by Yong-do. At that moment, Girl in the distance seemed to sense something. Just as she realized that the siblings were in danger and rushed back, a woman appeared. On the other side, Jo Hyun's fight continued. When she rushed back, all she saw were the lifeless bodies of the sister and brother. Jo Hyun and the other person were also gravely injured. Girl approached and crushed Young-doo's ankle with one foot. The man in black was mocking Girl to his companion, saying that as a SS modified human, she had actually fled the battle. At that moment, with just a thought, Girl caused the man's right shoulder and arm to explode. The woman in black attempted another ambush, but Girl easily knocked her down with one hand. Under Girl's control, the woman in black not only couldn't swing her knife but ended up stabbing herself. After a few rounds of fighting, she was clearly no match for Girl. Girl grabbed her with one hand and threw her far away. The man in black, finally reborn with his broken arm, and still tried to compete with Girl in superpowers. The flying rocks were halted in midair by Girl's power, and in the next second, they all shattered, creating a storm of rock fragments. In a fit of rage, Girl unleashed her immense power, reducing the man in black to dust. Witnessing the incredible combat power of the SS modified individual, the terrified woman in black retreated, but found a person appeared in the back, none other than Girl's sister Koo Jae-yoon. The sister finally met her sister. The girl in black did not expect them to be sisters. After eliminating the woman in black, Koo Jae-yoon informed Girl that she had sustained some injuries while searching for Dr. Beck, so she ordered the man in black to rescue Girl. However, initially, Girl appeared extremely weak, making Koo Jae-yoon doubt whether this was truly her sister. But as Girl's abilities gradually awakened, Koo Jae-yoon finally confirmed that she was indeed her sister. She wanted to find her birth mother through Girl, as Girl's consciousness was connected to their mother's.
Those girls, they finally met at last. I know they'll come looking for their mom soon.